Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Microphone check. A little low. Maybe a little low. Okay. How do we like it there? There's looking pretty good. Just hitting the yellow a little bit. We have got a couple of ciliates in this thing and some rotifers. Y'all can hear me? All good? Hey, Lammy. Good to see you. Do I know you by another name, Lammy? Okay. Yeah, how about this sample, everybody? What? Oh my goodness, look at this. I think this is one of those, we had one of these ciliates on one of the last streams. This is, ooh, it's alive. Yeah. This is the one that has that like crazy oral apparatus. Hold on, it's been sitting on here for a minute. All right, well, welcome back, Lammy. Are you on the Discord, Lammy? You should get on the Discord. Everybody should be on the Discord. So we are working with some brackish water today, which is always interesting because the one thing about any kind of salt water is that as it evaporates, it causes the salinity to go up and up and up. So potentially we might run into some issues. Whoa, look at this. This ciliate here is like flexing and everything. Nice, very good. And again, just in case you're only familiar with Twitch streams, there is a 30-second stream delay on YouTube. And the reason I do it on YouTube is because I can stream in 4K, which is super tight. But it does mean that I can't quite respond at the same pace. So you notice me seeming to ignore you. Usually that's all that's going on. Oh my goodness, look at this. Guys, we got the 40X going. We got the 40X going, and it's looking sharp. Looking real sharp. I'm trying like 3 new things today. One, let's see, where do we even begin? So this is going to come as a complete and total shock to anybody that knows me, but bought a new microscope this week. I know it's out of character. Very out of character for Diet Toms to just be buying new microscopes. But it happened, and my best excuse is that it's a microscope I didn't have before. It's really just a slightly different model of my pride and joy Olympus BH2. And So this is the Olympus BHS. So before I was using a BH2 BHT base. Oh my goodness, look at this. This is such an active sample. I can't, guys, this came from essentially a glorified puddle, kind of on the coast of the San Francisco Bay. The puddle is maybe 3 feet in diameter. And look at all this just absolutely fabulous stuff we're getting. Oh my goodness, look at that. These guys, I don't know if these are like huge euplodes or what. But these are fire, honestly. I think they're euplodes. And look at, you can see the cirri just breaking off into the individual cilia there. Okay, where was I? I'm getting distracted by the microbes. Which is probably the correct thing. They are the star of the show. Wow, look at this one. Is that like some kind of colpoda or something? Whoa, look at it. Look at the striations on its pellicle. And it's so flat. This one appears to be very flat. Okay. Yeah, so in the past I've been using a BHT base with a 100-watt LED that I very scuffily just kind of shoved in the back of the microscope, and it actually turned out to work okay, which was kind of surprising. So I've been using that basically for the longest time, and using LEDs has a lot of benefits. You know, but one thing about LEDs is that they always do have some kind of, they kind of have like a wonky spectrum. And I've always wondered about, like, does the high power halogen bulb, does that get me more or less light? Would it be better than the LED? And so I had the opportunity to buy a Olympus BH2 BHS base, which is the base with that uses a 100-watt illuminator. Oh my God, look at this, guys. Look at this huge cilia. Absolutely huge. I think it's just like a super big spirostomum. I've seen these before in marine samples, but never in this level of detail. It's pretty crazy. I think the last time I had these, I was still using my Journey to the Microcosmos microscope. It's crazy. And so I have, now I'm using the 100-watt illuminator. Ooh, we got some nice cyanobacteria there. Oh yeah. And it turns out it's about as bright as my LED. So I don't know that it's really any different. I need to do some like more serious like A/B testing on that. But that's one of the changes that I've made. And then another change, which is that I'm using right now, I'm using a number 0 cover slip. And in the past, I've always used the number 1.5 cover slip. So going to a number 0, wow, this one's even bigger. Look at this thing. Hold on, let's go to the 10x, see if we can get it all in frame. Make sure I'm not dropping anything important. So I'm using a number 0 cover slip. So microscope objectives, you know, most of them that you find will have be specified for 0.17 millimeter cover slip. But an important thing to understand about how microscope objectives are designed, and kind of really in a bigger picture, like why microscopes are made in the first place, is that when you see 0.17, what that means is that these objectives are designed to look at something directly underneath a 0.17 millimeter slip of glass. And that's because when most you know, microscopes are being used, they're being used to look at very, very thin specimens. So that could be like a microtomed histology slide, like maybe you're looking at like biopsy material, or you might be looking at like a blood smear or some other kind of smear that has a thickness of, you know, essentially microns. And so that's why 0.17 millimeter cover slips, that's number 1.5 cover slips, are recommended for kind of general or for like clinical microscopy. But when you're doing microbe hunting, often you're going to be dealing with samples that are thicker. Now I should say, if you want to get the absolute best imagery possible, you should endeavor to get your specimens directly on the bottom of a 0.17 millimeter cover slip. That's the way to do it. But when you have these like really thick specimens here with like lots of stuff, you really want to consider using a thinner cover slip, and actually letting the thickness of the water do a little bit of work for you. And so I went kind of all the way. I went to number 0 cover slips, and I don't actually remember what the thickness of these are, but they're so thin. When you pick them up, it's like holding nothing. It's crazy. So that's one thing I'm doing, and it should allow me to use my 40x lens, my 40x S-plane Apo lens, a little bit more liberally. In the past, I've really always had to be very careful. Like often I cannot get it to actually work. But here we are using the 40x, getting some nice detail, some nice footage here. And so this is basically allowing me to do that using the number 0 cover slips. It just gives me more working distance. And I will pay a penalty for that in numerical aperture. But again, usually I just can't use this lens at all for thick specimens. Now I need to figure out some way to like be really cautious with this one. Okay, so that's the number 2. And then probably the biggest thing, and I've posted about this on the Discord, and if you're not on the Discord, oh, I think I know what this is. We gotta follow the sky ramp. Is this the one I think it is? If you're not on the Discord, you really need to get on the Discord. The Discord is becoming like a hotspot for kind of modern microscopy, in my opinion. Everybody on the Discord is really interested in doing better microscopy. Where'd that little bug? And it's just a fun place to be. I post a lot of like what I might call like secret content on there, just like stuff that I don't think is produced enough. But anyway, okay. So I posted about this already. This is such a stupid story, honestly. This is so I buy a lot of microscopes, if you guys don't already know, and I kind of have it in my head that like eventually I'll sell or give away these microscopes that I buy, and so for that reason I generally keep the packaging and the packaging material. I have like 2 big like yard trash bags just full of bubble wrap and like packing peanuts and stuff. It's very stupid. And again, if you're on the Discord, you'll know that I was at a wedding recently. My best friend got married. It was really great, really exciting. It was like a half white person, half Indian wedding. And I gave him a gift, and it was a fragile gift, so I had to wrap it up. Ooh, what is that? What have we got here? Is this, whoa, that's like, oh, this is like a nematode, but this is a curious looking nematode. It's kind of chubby. So I had to wrap him a fragile gift, and I dug into my trash bag full of bubble wrap, and I pulled out a hunk of bubble wrap that looked pretty good. But I noticed, like, right when I picked it up, like, it's too heavy. It's just too heavy for bubble wrap. And so I started unwrapping this, and wouldn't you know it, inside of this little hunk of bubble wrap, there is an optic. And I can see, I know already, I see what it is. It's a photo eyepiece. It's the eyepiece that you put in the trinocular port to project images onto your camera sensor. And it says Olympus on it, so I know it's an Olympus photo eyepiece. But the one thing that's really strange about it is that it looks a little bit longer than the ones that I'm used to working with. And I just had this like thought. It was just this brief thought, because there wasn't a whole lot of time to think about it. I was just like, what if it's that one? And so I turned the optic around in my hand, because when I picked it up, it just said Olympus. Turned it around, and it was labeled 1.67x. And the 1.67x photo eyepiece is one of the rarest and most sought after photo eyepieces. Really, the value, as I understand it, mostly derives from the fact that it's kind of the ideal eyepiece to use with an APS-C size camera sensor. And honestly, that's really not such a big deal these days, because full frame cameras are starting to get a lot more affordable. So you can just use kind of the 2.5x that is way more plentiful and goes for around $100 or so. But anyway, I'm just like, this optic goes for like $600 minimum on eBay. Just a super rare optic, and just a unbelievable find. I can't believe, I have no idea which microscope I bought came with this, or how long it's just been sitting there. I have no idea that I had this in my possession. Ooh, look at this one with the red inside of it. I think those are sulfur fixing bacteria that it's been eating. And so anyway, like, yeah, I have no idea how I came across this optic. But so it's really interesting. It's a 1.67 times magnification photo eyepiece, and that is less than 2.5 times magnification, which is what I've been using. And this actually really gets at something that I've been trying to stress to a lot of people, which is that magnification is the enemy. We do not like magnification. Magnification sucks. When my image gets more magnified, I'll do it right here, it becomes less crisp. It becomes less detailed. Now, there are times when maybe you kind of prefer that, if you're really, really trying to like highlight something. But the fact of the matter is that most of the time what we want is an image that is really, really densely packed with fine details. And by lowering the magnification of this photo eyepiece, I've actually packed more detail from my images onto the same size 4K sensor. And so that has the effect of just making the imagery look a whole lot sharper, especially at higher magnification. And so that's kind of the third and probably biggest major change that I've made. I'm super excited. Oh, this one, these ciliates here. These are another ones. I haven't seen these in like a year and a half. I forget the name of these. These are a very large marine ciliate. If you guys maybe look up like large marine ciliate, you can probably identify these. They have sort of like a cleft mouth, like an orifice at the front. They're pretty, I think I remember just searching like large marine ciliate, and this was like the first result. These things are crazy. They're so big. You can see them like with a stereoscope very easily. Just look at this thing. This thing's been eating like purple sulfur bacteria, I think is what's going on here. Oh, and then the other thing too about switching to the 1.67x is that now, if you think about it, like, right, the center, this image would have been cropped in by a little bit right now and would have been expanded out to, so you would see a smaller subsection of this image, but it would be blown up to the size of the whole camera sensor. And that means that the light that's coming from the image would be spread out more on the camera sensor, which means it would be dimmer. And so that's the final little like cherry on top, is that by using the 1.67x, by lowering my magnification, I'm actually packing the light more densely onto my camera sensor, which means I can expose at lower ISO settings, so I get lower noise imagery. Now, I'm not fully taking advantage of this yet. I had to stack a few filters on my lamp field lens to get kind of the colors in the right spot. But this is great, honestly, for first try. Yo, what's up? Let's see, we got Micro Vlog and Nomarski Method. Yo, what's up? This sample is fresh today. This is just a couple hours old at this point. This is a brackish water sample. It's a tiny little puddle, a puddle about like 3 feet across, kind of near where the San Francisco Bay kind of comes in and mixes with this like marshy area. And it was just like the whole puddle was like covered in algae. I think I have a strand of that algae. Yeah, I think it's this stuff here. And I was like, man, it smells so bad. But I was like, I just had a good feeling about it. It just looked, it smelled different bad. Like you guys that do microscopy, you understand how like when you get like a freshwater sample, after a while it like putrefies and becomes just icky and it gets that certain smell. This had just kind of a different, almost like smoky, bad smell to it. And I just had a feeling that it was like going to be a good sample. And I think what's happening is it's got a lot of sulfur fixing bacteria on it. So it has this like sulfury smell. But apparently these ciliates are just having a wonderful time eating that sulfur bacteria. And I can see like some Vegeatoa fragments around here and stuff. We got a little Heliozoan action here too. Always like to see that. Yeah, Andrew Pankton, I don't know. The number 0 cover slips are whatever they are. If that's what you found for number 0, that's probably correct. They're very thin. They're just very, very thin. And then the other nice thing too about these cover slips, wow, look at all these spirochetes here. The other thing about these cover slips that I got is that they are they're very clean right out of the box. They don't have any like surfactant residue or anything like that, which has been a really annoying problem. Honestly, that's why it takes me like so long to make new slides sometimes, because I have to clean the cover slip beforehand. So just a lot of like really new stuff, and this is crazy because like, you know, I'm always like, you know, I'm always trying to tell you guys, like anybody that's been on the Discord and all that, like you guys know that I'm a big fan of like trying new stuff, and I often say that like, you know, there's still stuff out there. You know, I haven't been doing this for decades or anything like that, but I've been doing it for a few years now, and I like to think I'm fairly knowledgeable. Wow, all these colors are just like so bright. But there's always something new to be figured out, to try. One of the reasons that I really love microscopy is that like the permutations of what you're doing when it comes to like the microscope you're using, the illumination technique, the camera, the samples you're collecting, like all this stuff, just it becomes so many different permutations of that just provide endless opportunities to experiment and figure out new stuff, create new looks. And so yeah, this is just a great like kind of culmination of all of that. And it just so happens that we got a really fantastic sample today with just some great specimens on it. I think these really look like Spirostomum, and I've gotten really big. I've seen these before in my other marine samples, but I've never been like 100% sure because they're just so much bigger than the Spirostomum that I'm used to. Yeah, I honestly, I wasn't sure today. Like one of the things that I've been worried about is like using the 1.67x. Like, are things gonna be too small at like 10x? You know, am I not gonna be able to like see cilia anymore? Am I gonna lose like detail because I'm actually reaching like the limits of 4K? And I think after today, I mean, we don't know yet. I still need to like look into this more and look at the footage more closely. But I think the answer is things are so much better at 20x and 40x that I'm never going back. That's my guess. Tardigrade Hunter asks, can you see bacillus? So there are different kinds of bacillus. You know, bacteria you can't really identify just by shape alone, unless we're talking about the larger bacteria like Veggiatoa or cyanobacteria or whatnot. Usually what I talk about, like I'll say like a bacteria is bacilliform, so it just has a bacillus shape to it, and I kind of just leave it at that. In fact, I have a coworker that would shame me greatly if I attempted to identify bacteria from just from morphology alone. He would be very upset with me. But I can definitely see bacteria. We're not gonna, maybe we'll do 100x today. Who knows? In general, if you see like small stuff swimming around right now, like that's bacteria. Some of them are probably bacilliform. We got a lot of spirochetes though today. Look at this little, this noodly little spirochete here. Look at that guy just go. Tardigrade Hunter asks, what do you think of oil immersion? Oil immersion is great. The only problem with it is that you kind of have to stop using the slide when you're done, or at least just only go to like a 4x, maybe a 10x achromat. But I've done, if you want to look up Tardigrade Hunter, if you want to look up my like, I have a live stream called like Hyperlight. It's like a new Hyperlight, a new technique by Diet Toms or something. Hyperlight is a oil immersion technique, and that gets me, of course, like the maximum possible resolution that you can really get for stuff like diatom frustrals and whatnot. So it's wonderful. I mean, there's nothing, and it's the only way to get really super duper high detail on tiny stuff. So you kind of just, you have to do it if that's what you want. Yeah, look at this little guy. Interesting critter. diatom here. Oh my god, this is just the first slide, guys. This is just the first slide. And I didn't for this slide I didn't do any like initial prep. I made the slide. I put the cover slip on, put it on the microscope, turned on the microscope, and I was like, oh, it's extremely active. Like I gotta stream live like immediately right now. I gotta start streaming. You guys want to do a little phase contrast? Let's see, we've got to put that in, open this up. Why am I not getting phase contrast? I gotta take this out, that's one thing. Let's see, let's get our exposure down. Let's see, just make sure that is, yep, that should be right. And there we go. That's be a little finicky on the positioning. Go to the 20x phase contrast. Wow, these cyanobacteria here really show up bright. So this here, I believe, is Beggiatoa. And Beggiatoa has little sulfur grains inside of it. So it's a bacteria. It's a sulfur-fixing bacteria, which again, I think is why the sample smells particularly interesting. That's the word we're going to use. Wow, look at this flagellate here. Whoa, look at this spirochete. Wow, look at it. It looks like a sine wave when you get it just right in phase contrast. Recently, Microvlog says, recently I bought an old Lights Dialux. Awesome. It has a dark field, but with a 40x objective, I can't achieve a good quality. Now, do you mean that you can't get a good quality with the dark field, or that you just can't get a good quality with the 40x at all? Wow. A lot of cool stuff to look at here. Phase contrast, honestly, not my favorite technique, generally speaking, but I do like to switch into it for certain purposes. For instance, looking at bacteria. Bacteria always look great in phase contrast. Ooh, this is Oscillatoria. It's the first little strain of that I've noticed. Kind of a small little one. I think this is Oscillatoria. Wow. Yeah, one of the nice things about phase contrast is just like when you lock in on something that has destructive phase interference, like it just becomes so sharply black. This is a an apochromatic phase objective, so it just further kind of increases like the sharpness of that black. There's no like color bleed on that at all. Oh, there's one. Wow. See, now for large things, phase contrast generally isn't that great. You know, you can see the cilia pretty well when they're in plane. But you notice that there's like, in terms of like the internal structure here, it just kind of looks similar to DICE or bright field or whatever. It's really this small stuff, the tiny little things, the really thin stuff, that benefits most from phase contrast, which is one of the reasons why I kind of don't recommend phase contrast like as a thing to shoot for, or at least I think you should be very familiar with like, whoa, look at this spirochete here. Thing's wild. Look at that guy. I think at the very least you should be well familiarized with what phase contrast imagery actually looks like before you make a phase contrast purchase. Hey, good night, Mike G. Thanks for showing up. All right, Lammy. Sorry about the paperwork. Okay, we'll go to, well, you know what we'll do? We'll do a little bit. We'll do a little bit of 40x right field. Just for kicks, just for to say we did. Here we go. 40x, S-plane apo, right field. I'm gonna turn this on. Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's coming out nice. You see this is, so I think this is Frontonia. Frontonia, it's either like Lucas or Atria. I can never remember which one is which. But you can see it is a fan of eating diatoms. There's another one. Hey, Harry Fairy. Good to see ya. We're doing a fun stream tonight, that's for sure. Oh, Chile microvlog, cool. Hey, microvlog, get on the Discord if you can. We'd love to have someone from Chile on the Discord. Always love having people from around the world doing microscopy together. The Discord link is in my profile. You guys want to try it? Like, I can put on the put in my. I gotta open this up. Open that up. Oops, oops. Try doing like a little bit of circular oblique lighting, just to see what's up with that. Yeah, I gotta make sure I'm not I might be running into the slide slightly. This is sort of like budget phase contrast. But every now and then, see, look at how this, like, I locked in on this like Veggiatoa, and you can see the sulfur grains like really well. This is using a dark field filter with that kind of maxes out at 0.7 numerical aperture. And this lens is a 0.95. So yeah, kind of interesting. I guess we'll just go back to DIC. Never a bad choice. Pop in the slider. Open up everything. Pump that exposure up. Wow, look at this spirochete. Let's see. I think that. Yeah, so I get my samples from all over the place. This is kind of the honest answer. Well, let's put this back down to where it should be, right about there. And So I'm like honestly on like a constant quest to find just like the perfect sample spot. And I'm honestly not always successful with that. But this sample in particular came from kind of the wetlands on the coast of the San Francisco Bay. And there are these areas which I assume at like high tide they flood in. And I posted on the Discord actually a video from like there's an airport nearby and there's like a plane that's landing. So this sample comes from a place that I don't think floods regularly because there's lots of like plants growing there, like freshwater plants. But there's this puddle, and the puddle is about 3 feet across, and it was just completely on the top, like completely overgrown with vegetation, like algae or some kind of general green scum. And I just saw this thing and I was like, you know what? Like, I bet there could be something cool in that. So I took a tiny little sample jar and just made a small little collection. And this is the first slide that I've made with it. And it's just packed full of diversity, big ciliates. We got rotifers. We got tons of really cool bacteria, honestly. We got this cool flagellate here. And I measured the salinity of this water. It is 15 parts per thousand salinity, which makes it like almost like exactly what you would call brackish water. Oh, this is a dinoflagellate right here. That's what we got right here. This is a dinoflagellate. The dinoflagellates are protists. I think they're related to diatoms. Now this one, I don't know the name of it, and it's really hard to see, but you might just barely be able to make out that there's kind of this groove in the side of it, and there's a little coiled up flagella that like rotates around in that groove. It's really hard to see. If it like pops out a little something, we can see it. But so they have this like one flagella that goes like around them. I don't know if it's it's called like a longitudinal or transverse flagella or something like that. And then there's another flagella that they use to like swim around. I think the one that goes around them is like used to orient them as they swim. But anyway, let's go back to 10x. And let's just see what we can I think we can see from kind of the low magnification here, quote unquote. Yeah, I think this 1.67x is gonna stay on this microscope for a while. Oh, look at this, guys. You can see, so this is on the top of the cover slip. You guys have any idea what this is? Can I get some guesses? Guesses in the chat? First person that guesses right gets a free pass to the Diet Tom's Discord. And if you're already on the Discord, you get nothing. But, you know, you'll get an attaboy, or an attagirl, or an atta-they. What have we got here? What do we think this is? On the top of my cover slip. Kind of pretty. What if we give it a... Ooh. Hello. What have we got? Go to the 20x. Oh, that's looking spicy right there. That is looking crunchy. That's some wallpaper stuff right there. Ooh. Anybody? Anybody got a guess? What is this stuff on top of my cover slip? Not chicken grease. I love looking at things in polarized light. Although this is something that normally would not give you great polarized light results. But just the crystal structure, I believe, is giving us some fun stuff, some fun effects. All right, nobody's guessing. So this is salt that is beginning to dry out and crystallize on the top of my cover slip. In fact, we might be able to see, yes, around the perimeter of the cover slip, you can see salt crystals beginning to form. Now, one interesting thing, so I mentioned earlier that when you have a salty sample, you know, as it dries out, the salinity increases, which can have detrimental effects on your microbes. The other thing that can happen, though, is the salt can actually kind of like create a seal around the slide so that it doesn't evaporate as fast. So I don't know. It's kind of a wash, maybe, on like whether or not it's a good thing. Look at this. We got some euploides dividing here. And of course, if you look at that salt, you know, with your eye, it's just going to look like, you know, just a very slight little whitish residue. But salt crystallizes into nice cubic crystals. And under the microscope, you can see that structure. Oh, and then the other thing I remember is that, generally speaking, your microbes will begin on a saltwater slide. They'll begin to migrate like to the center of the slide. And I've had slides before where like it's crazy. Like they'll just, whoa, we've got a little bug. We missed this guy somehow. I don't think it's alive anymore. But yeah, they'll start to like migrate to the center of the slide, and you can kind of like get them all in like one place sometimes just by leaving the slide sitting for a while. I am wondering, where are all my big ciliates at? I hope they didn't dry out. We can always get more. Maybe they got stuck. All right, we'll give this thing another boost of water. And again, this is what I'm saying, though, that every time you add water, you're adding more salt as well. Oh, look at that nematode just go by. I did make the mistake one time of like, I was like, oh, well, I should put a tiny little bit of fresh water on there because that'll like balance out the salinity. And that little bit of fresh water spread through the slide like a chemical weapon or something, and would cause the ciliates to swell up and die like instantly. It was crazy. So never give your brackish water or saltwater critters fresh water on the slide. It will not end well. Tardigrade hunter. So tardigrades come from primarily from like tree moss, and we've definitely had tardigrades before. But we're not going to get any tardigrades in this sample, almost certainly. Here's our big, what we think is a big marine spirostomum. Wow, I can't believe it. And this was like such an easy puddle to get to. It was like right by the parking lot too. I'm always a fan of that. Like sometimes I go out on like these super long treks to get a sample, and then often it doesn't even like turn out to be that good of a sample. What an absolute beauty. And like this is cool too, just like the using the 1.67x photo eyepiece, I think is really playing nicely with the 20x lens. I'm getting like very nice sharpness using the 20x. Just loving it. Loving the footage I'm getting out of this. Check out Spirostomum. You can see the oral groove right there, where it takes in food. And there's kind of like a train of cilia sort of waving stuff down into that. Oh, you can see it just vacuuming up stuff. Oh, there's something that just went inside. That little particle. Now part of the spirostoma. Wow. Oh, this is so great. This is like, I'm always talking about how like I'm always trying to improve. Like I don't want to settle for like a certain level of quality. I'm always trying to like squeeze out more. And getting this 1.67x lens. Oh, whoa, look at this ciliate. Oh, this is an interesting one. I think it's, how deep is this thing? Okay, it's pretty deep. I'm gonna turn this up. Pop that up a bit. Look at this ciliate. You know, it's funny, like I don't know how to describe, like this one just moves differently than most ciliates that I'm used to. How it kind of uses its cilia to like walk around. And it just has a, almost like a Euplodes, the way that it moves. Where it's just got this characteristic walking movement to it. Yeah, we got a little this green thing here is a cyanobacteria. This one's so cool though. And using the number 0 cover slip has been really, like, already I can tell it's just the image quality looks great in general. I'm able to use the 40x a lot more. Even if I'm not getting the full numerical aperture out of the 40x all the time, I think in general I'm getting good stuff with it. And it'll always be apochromatic. It doesn't change even if I'm not using the full numerical aperture. I'm still getting an apochromat, which is a big part of what I want. Nice little diatom there. You get some good detail on its like striations, the insides of it. Yeah, I've seen amoebas that are literally like millimeters across. There's a certain amoeba, I forget what it's called, where it almost looks like just like a big bag of sand grains or something. Those things are crazy. I did see earlier, I saw an amoeba on this slide, just kind of crawling around. It wasn't like a super amazing amoeba, but it was an amoeba. It's here somewhere. Oh, here's our Euplotes. They're about to split. At least it would seem that way. Sometimes it takes a long time. You guys want to watch these two split in real time here? That's always fun. We haven't done that in a long time on this channel. Let's follow these guys around until they split. I guess we shouldn't call them guys. We should come up with like a gender neutral term for ciliates. Oh, it's so close. It's so close. They're still just like slightly tangled on by a little bit. Like it looks like just maybe like a Siri or something. Oh, these are so cool. These ciliates are so great. I'm gonna put this sample jar. I always recommend especially for marine samples, you want to keep these samples cool, because they tend to go bad really fast. So I'm gonna put this in a cooler with some ice packs. I'm not gonna put it directly on the ice packs, but I'm gonna try to keep this thing like around 60 degrees or so. I've considered getting just a mini fridge and like keeping it at 60 for this kind of thing. Yeah, look at it's just there's just like, oh, I think I can see it. Oh, they split. There it is. I think we got it. I think we saw it. I think we saw the last little piece rip away. There we go. One becomes two. On and on, the generations move. Wagon wheels west. Shut the F up, Tommy. There's a little dinoflagellate again. This one's a little bit more excitable. We'll go to our 10x again. Continue hunting around. Do we go to like, maybe we should go to Darkfield for a little bit, you know, just to mix things up. Oh, let's pull this out. There we go. And let's bring that up. Ooh. Darkfield looks a little different than I'm used to. It's a little like, it's got this like interesting like blue highlights going on. I think that's because I'm just like, I haven't made a new lookup table since I've changed up my illumination, so it's got an interesting little effect to it. I don't hate it. Not at all. Again, dark field, for those of you that, you know, don't have a super high-end microscope, if you have an Abe condenser, you can do dark field. A dark field, even on my microscope, does not look, the background doesn't look like super duper black in dark field kind of by default. Usually to get like a nice inky black dark field, you need to go into your post software, you need to go into your video editing software and just pull the blacks down a little bit. But once you get it, it's great. It's an awesome technique. Look at this guy. Hey Maggie, welcome back. Glad you enjoy the streams. This one started off kind of hype, not gonna lie. There's a lot going on tonight. A lot of new stuff. I think this is a little hyper trick. Got some purple sulfur bacteria inside. Ooh, look at the purple sulfur bacteria in this one. Oh dang, we could do polarization too. I forgot that existed. Let's do polarization. So we do that. Sorry for the bright light. Give me a second. We do a little polarized light microscopy. Just a little casual polarized light microscopy. I love having this kind of... Oh, it's so bright. This is weird. Okay, I'm going to pull this out and put it down here. Does that change it? No. It's very strange. No idea what's going on with that. Don't worry about it though. Look at this. Polarized light. Makes things glow. Oh, is this a... Hey, look at this. Like I promised. We got a little amoeba. Amoeba's been down on some crystals. Sulfur grains have a polarization response. And so this is actually a good sample to do this on because, so like here we can see a little Beggiatoa swimming by. Whoa! Rotifer. Rotifer's got a polarization response happening. Oh, look at this. Whoa, look at this one little like nodule inside of this guy. I bet that's something. I bet that's a real like feature of this organism. It's so bright too compared to everything else. That is definitely a crystal of some kind. I wonder if it's like a consistent. It has to be because there's just one of them right in the same spot. There's a little dinoflagellate. Let's see if we can find any of our like really big ciliates. Again, oh, there's our Frontonia. That one's got one big thing, probably something at 8. Probably ate something birefringent. I'm gonna go to my 10x lens. Oh, that's really interesting. The 10x seems to be less blue. Wonder why that is. Some things I don't even know. That sounded more like boastful than I meant it to be. There's a lot of things I don't know, guys. Not gonna lie. We're just out here Trying to have a good time. Now where are my big old like? Ooh, whoa! This is an interesting little critter. It's got 2 eyes. These usually only have 1. Okay. But we're on a mission. Oh yeah, this is one of those big boys. Whoa! Look at the cilia on its oral groove have a polarization response. Wow. I think the purple sulfur bacteria this thing eats are like shining really well too. Wow, look at the cilia go. Whoa, come on, buddy. These things are fast. For how big they are, very fast. These things are, I remember actually thinking to myself the first time I ever found these, that they remind me of whales, like humpback whales. They're just so big, and they just have these big old mouths. And they're not predatory. They're not like, you know, this thing could be like, it's so big it ought to be a predator, but it's not. Just a friendly little, wow. Look at that. What a beautiful little scene. With the wave plate and some polarized light. Polarized light, high key, becoming potentially my favorite technique over DIC even. I mean, everybody's always going to like DIC. DIC for me has become, it's a really great way to show stuff in kind of a realistic way, that's still very striking and contrasty. But polarized light, I feel like I get so much more intuition. I learn much more. I notice so many different things. Like when things are birefringent, like I take note of that. I'm like, wait, what is that? You know? Wow, look at the cilia. Look at the color change on the cilia depending on the orientation it swims. So when it's swimming horizontally, they're blue. When it's vertical, they're like orange. Wow. I'm gonna make a few changes here. We're gonna go for dark field polarized light. Okay. We'll move that in right about there. Okay, back it off right there. And then we will put in our polarizer and turn that to extinction. Right there. And then we will just pick up our ISO. We're having to go pretty high here. But maybe if I put this wave plate on the top here. This is where I think I can improve later. Oh, but though. Oops, did I pick up my polarizer too? I did. Seconds. We'll get that guy back. There we go. Okay, we're good. We're good. This is where I want to be. Where'd that spirostomum go? Can't have gone far. It's huge. And we can go to 4x here. Now the 4x will have a lot of, there we go. Yeah. I love it. Dark field, polarized light. We're at a pretty high ISO setting, unfortunately. We're not getting the cleanest footage, but it's pretty good still. Okay. This is something that annoys me. This is not lo-fi. Epidemic playlist. There we go. Wow. Still the first slide. Still the first slide, everybody. Maybe we won't even need another slide tonight. Oh, here's our boy again. $64,000 ISO. Not too bad. Not too bad. Let's see. We'll try a little experiment here. We will pull out our our daylight filter here. Yeah, that's a more reasonable ISO setting here. Different view, different effect for sure. Less realistic, probably. But, you know, we're experimenting. We're trying new stuff out. Where's my cellophane at? Will this work? Oh, this kind of allows me to do stuff. Here's my cellophane. See if our cellophane. Ooh. I really need to figure out a way to like mount my cellophane. This is literally just, I'm putting like a very lightweight plastic wrapper on my stuff. It's very orange. I'll give it that. Whoa, check this silhouette out. Whoa. It's not the worst effect in the world, is it? Dark field polarized light with a wave plate on top. And then a little bit of cellophane to just like change the hues. Got some collabs here. We haven't shown the collabs any love tonight, but collabs definitely deserves some love. Great little microorganism. Starting to look. Oh, because I'm in yeah, I'm in dark field as well. Okay, let's try this. Let's go to, let's pull that out, put this back in. I've got like such a huge stack of filters at this point. It's kind of ridiculous. There we go. All right, and then we'll put in the, why does my, that's so strange. Oh, look at these diatoms glittering. That glittering is from the oil inside of the diatoms, the little oil droplets, and those little oil droplets refract the light and alter the polarization. And when they alter it just right, it gets bright. When it changes, they get dark. That causes the glittering effect. Nice rotifer. Whoa, the nematode. Oh, this is really cool. So we can see the this little bit here with the kind of the white with like the black cross in the middle. That is a muscle, probably a muscle that like controls the jaws of this thing. And muscle fibers are often highly birefringent, and that little black cross shows up a lot in polarized light imagery as well. It tells us something about how the kind of how the light is being manipulated. Nematodes, always very squirmy. I have no idea what nematodes do, honestly, on their day-to-day. Like, they just always do something. They just seem to be squirming every time I see them. All they do, they just squirm around. I think they like eat stuff, you know? I think they're like predatory, but I've never seen them do anything but like flail stupidly, honestly. They're not the most impressive organisms. At least so far that I've seen. Antonia again. Okay. Let's go back to GIC. There's a nice diatom frustral there. See the striae on it. So let's get this back in focus. There. And open. And here's our nematode friend again. And one thing that you can kind of see now, that we have the IC back, is we're not seeing that same like cross in the in that like muscle. If it would slow down a little bit, not seeing that same cross. You can still see the muscle, but it's not quite as obvious that it is a muscle. And when you see the polarization cross in that muscle, like you know it, you know what's going on, you know something about the structure, like the truly like beyond microscopic structure of that organ, or whatever it is that's having a polarization response. You can look at that, you can see what that polarization response is, and you can know about like the structure on like potentially the molecular level, which is really cool. And that's why polarized light is such a powerful method. It's because it provides insights about the structures of things that go beyond the resolution limits of the microscope. Look at this lovely Vegetoa. I think it's Vegetoa. I'm pretty sure. If it's not Vegetoa, it's very close. Very similar. It's a bacteria with sulfur grains inside of it. Oops. Get you under the 40x. Yes, changing to the number 0 cover slips was so clutch. A good idea. I wish I'd done this sooner. And they're 100% worth the price. They're expensive, but like, I mean, they last, you know, a box of cover slips lasts a long time. So spreading out that price, not a big deal. Look at this. Look at this footage. Live microscopy, 4K. This quality. Where are you guys going to get that? Anywhere else? The answer is nowhere. Nowhere. Only here. Hashtag Diet Toms. Hashtag 10 times in 5 years. Hashtag Hyperlight. I have to admit, I am moderately tilted that my biggest audience is on Twitch. And Twitch, the quality just in comparison is nothing. Garbage. Garbage. We're going to have to get these Twitch heads off of Twitch onto YouTube. Hey, what's up, sis? Ooh, this one's very pretty. Oh, I'm so glad. I hope this puddle never goes away. I hope this puddle is, this is like, I'm gonna put this on Google Maps. I'm gonna be like, this is the Diet Tom's puddle. Diet Tom's clutch puddle. Finally getting a sample that I'm like actually stoked on. Diatom frustrules. Here's our little Euplotes friend again. I don't even know what this is. This looks like a little chip out of the slide or something. God, I feel like I still haven't seen like everything that's on this slide. Like there's more there constantly. How you know you found a good one? Yeah, I'm not super concerned about like audience size per se. It's not really the size of the audience. It's just more that like I know that like if I stream on Twitch, I'm gonna get like probably 20 viewers or something, maybe more if somebody like raids me. But like y'all should be up in the YouTube because it's just it's 4K. It's 4K. And not only is it 4K, like even if I was only streaming 1080p, the quality would be like substantially nicer. That's because I'm able to use like such a higher bit rate. Look at this nematode. And this little Euplotes, I think, or something similar with the purple sulfur bacteria. God, I can't believe it. This is all just like totally by accident too. Just getting this photo eyepiece. So dumb. So dumb how things happen. Everything's stupid. That's the lesson. That's the lesson for today. Today on Diet Toms, we learned that everything is just dumb. Look at that. Salt crystals, even salt crystals, just so cool to look at. You look at them just like spreading out. They're all around the sides now. See, they're sealing. They're doing some work. They're sealing in the water, which means it's not going to evaporate as fast. But also, we're not getting any oxygen exchange. Oh, this is which one is this? This isn't. I don't think this is Gyrosigma. This is the diatom I see a lot on. A lot of people like take pictures of this diatom. A lot of people like take pictures of a lot of diatoms, but this one in particular, it's a lot of attention. Give me a second here. Let's see if we can't resolve anything on this thing. This one I think has very fine pores, so it might take just barely. I can start seeing them. Oh, there they are. There they are. They're there. Just barely resolving them. You guys see that? You see the kind of the checkerboard pattern on the frustule there? That is right at the limit. See if we can't add some contrast in on that. I think that's about it right there. Yeah, I can see him now. I can see him in 4K. Captured in 4K. Let's see, can we get him come up? There should be. Yeah, I'll have to figure out the name of this diatom. It's a pretty cool one. It's got some nice fine features to look at. Would love to have it on a diatom slide. Not gonna lie. See what our curler's doing. Looking good. Solid. All. Hey, there's a little stack of diatoms there. Nice living diatoms. There's a ciliate that's seen better days. I think we're starting to see some ciliates here kind of expire. And that might be because of the either the rising salinity or the lack of oxygen. What a cool sample. I'm so glad. I had to kind of break my own rules a little bit to get to this one. I had to step on some plants. And it wasn't like, I mean, it's not like I stepped on anything that wasn't very prevalent in the area. I tried to step on the ones that looked less fragile. But I had to walk about 6 feet off the trail, stepping on some plants to like get access to this. If I bring a stick next time, I think I should be able to access it without too much trouble. You should always try to minimize your impact. You know, you're never going to have zero impact. You're taking something away. And you should always check your local rules and regulations, because it may well be totally illegal for you to take a sample of any kind. But in the event you're going to take a sample, no matter whether or not it's legal, you should always endeavor to take a relatively small sample to not disrupt the environment too much. Especially take note, you know, if you see something that looks like super duper rare, like a small little environment that you haven't seen anywhere else, you know, just be conscious of that and just take a small little amount. I took this is one of my smallest jars, and I made a single slide, and I can tell I've got way more sample than I need with just that small little jar. So, and it's probably gonna expire in a couple days. I'm gonna do my best to keep it cool, but we will see. Oh, this is a rather greenish look. Ooh, look at the vacuoles in this bad boy. This boy is loaded with vacuoles. What's going on with that? What are you doing? You got all them vacuoles for? What a ciliate. What an interesting little critter. Bump that a little bit. Maybe I should go this way with it. Whoops. I can get back to that. And here, there you go. What an interesting critter. And I do think, hold on, I'm going to check with the eyepieces. Okay, yeah, this is picking up a lot of green compared to what's actually there. It's really just, it looks mostly just gray. But yeah, these vacuoles are something else, and they're not like closing up either, which is interesting. 5 vacuole cilia. That's pretty cool. What a great sample. I'm stoked on this sample. Go to do a little phase contrast. And see those vacuoles are, you know, since they're full of stuff that's not insides of ciliates. I got some stuff going on, and I always get like so much like stuff in the background when I do phase contrast. I gotta figure out what that's all about. Well, not a big deal. Not a big deal. And then these guys here that we've seen a good bit, they have kind of an interesting thing going on where they have this like internal structure separate from their like pellicle. This is cool. This is definitely like the coolest like microbial environment I've found. Wow. Oh, look at the salt crystals. You can see the rectangular formations in them. Whoa. What was that? This is funny. Outside of it, I'm getting the like outside of the cover slip, I'm getting some achromatic aberration here. I shouldn't get because it's an AFO objective, but I think that's just because I'm not looking through a cover slip. Cover slip is part of your optical system. It is important. Oh wow, this piece is showing up very bright now. Wow. How's that for a scene? I can't wait to watch this stream when I go to bed tonight. It's gonna be fire. So much good stuff happened in this stream. Everything, like this is like everything that I was trying, I became successful. Oh, this is what I'm talking about. I was talking about earlier, like stuff like congregates together. We'll try giving this a little extra water. But I have a feeling we're kind of reaching the limits of what we can do with this slide. Here you can see these, looks like these bacteria got caught drying out. They're looking a little scraggly and haggard. We're not going to worry too much about the expired bacteria. Ooh, look at this little ciliate here. That's an interesting looking ciliate. That's maybe a little predatory bugger. And it's cool, you can see how like where its body is thin, the light interferes destructively and goes dark, and then where its body thickens up, the light interferes constructively and brightens up. That's some phase contrast for you. Ooh, this is a nice little diatom here with the okay, let's see, the apices, plural of apex, these elongated apices. There's probably a better word than elongated, but we've got some apices on these, and I've noticed that marine, like saltwater diatoms, tend to have those more, and I think that might be because they're like meant to make the diatom more planktonic. They like float better and drift with the current better, but could be wrong. Could be completely wrong about that. Don't know. You can see the flagella on this, I believe is a dinoflagellate. There's two of them, two flagella. Thanks, Harry Fairy. You're awesome. I think though it's the microbes that are awesome, and light and microbes, and the Sony FX3. They're awesome. I'm just here to turn the knobs. Hashtag Sony. Hashtag sponsor me, Sony. I was thinking about like someday maybe I'll entertain the idea of getting like sponsorships or something. And I was thinking like, I don't think I'd ever want to do like a microscope company sponsorship, because that becomes like a major conflict of interest considering what I do. Like, I need to be able to talk some junk on microscope companies without having to worry about it, in order to provide the best possible service to my little tomlets. But I could mess with like a Sony sponsorship or something. Raycon. Have you guys heard about the best earbuds? They're made in China, but they're still kind of good or whatever. I actually have no idea if they're good or not. Hashtag Raycons. Hashtag sponsor me. Oh no, Sony. Sony would be good. Da Vinci Blackmagic Design. They probably wouldn't sponsor me unless I used one of their cameras. Let's see. The guy that's using Blackmagic cameras is Protist Lab Films. He's won some awards. So I think that's already set up. Yeah, Andy, that's the right way to watch this, honestly. So much detail to be had. Anybody watching? Andy Chapman has a YouTube channel, and a website, Thai Microcosmos, and he gets some awesome microbes out there in Thailand. Stuff that I do not see on the reg. Stuff that I'm sometimes moderately jealous of. So definitely give him a look-see. Smash that subscribe button. Smash the like button. This is a cool scene. I love these. I've often gotten the impression that just marine ciliates in general tend to be larger. I don't know how true that is, TBH, but they just, it seems like there's more there. There's more for them to eat, and they just can get bigger. Andy, have you ever how's your internet out there? Have you ever considered doing live streaming before? It's pretty fun, I have to say. And certainly you're in a time zone where like you could hit up a unique audience. I've like I know there's a bunch of like, I don't know how many, but like there's there's at least one Japanese dude who's doing some really fantastic microscopy. Like I don't think he speaks like any English. But I'm like, man, like we gotta get some Japanese dudes doing some live streaming microscopy. Like the ultimate dream of Diet Tom's, well, maybe not the ultimate dream. One of the dreams of Diet Tom's is to have like live streaming microscopy just constantly available, and you know, just have that basically with you know, you don't need that many streamers honestly to achieve that. There's 24 hours in a day, so like 24 live streamers around the world doing 1 hour each day, you know, times a few more. Like it's not that many people. And you probably don't need, look at all these collabs here. But just make it like a constant. Wow, look at these collabs though, honestly. Yeah, gigabit. You're good. You're solid. You can do freaking well, do you have gigabit? Is it gigabit up? Because up's all that matters for streaming. I had gigabit with Comcast, and sure, I got like fast download speeds, but then I got like nothing upload. And I got fiber, and it was all good. I still can't believe that. It's such a huge difference getting fiber internet. Dude, these Euplodies are just sucking in these collabs. I don't think they can actually eat them. I don't think their mouths are big enough. But the collabs are absolutely getting messed up. But yeah, I mean, so for live streaming, basically all you need to do is get yourself a capture card. And since you're on a Nikon D750 You don't need like a super nice capture card like I have. Before, when I was just doing 1080p, when I had my A7 III, I got these. It's just like a little USB card, and you just plug in the HDMI from your camera, and it turns into it turns into basically like a webcam. And then it's just a matter of like opening that up in OBS and connecting it to whatever streaming service you're interested in. And I think there's opportunity out there for other people doing really high quality microscopy to do it, and it's just a great way to like interact with people, inspire them. I found it prompts me to like learn so much more, and you become way better at using your microscope, like way better. Oh, is this a little jumpy boy here? Yeah. I don't know if it's is it Halteria? It's just kind of yeah, I guess it's Halteria. Pull-ups party. Amoeba. We got an amoeba sighting. We need my sister's emote on the YouTube. I don't even know if that's possible, honestly. It's interesting. I am seeing some like chromatic aberration. It's not god awful or anything like that, but like I'm noticing it more, and I'm wondering if that's because of the cover slip, the number 0 cover slip. I think it's still worth doing what I'm doing. I'm pretty sure I'm still getting the benefits of apochromat in terms of resolution, but yeah, that'd be sick. One of the like the other thoughts I've had, and we've kind of messed around with it before, is so like an idea I call dueling microscopists. So we basically have like 2 microscopists streaming at the same time, like competing for the better footage or doing, I don't know, stupid challenges or something. Who knows? Is this amoeba eating this Vegeatoa? Is that happening right now? Because it seems to be like sucking this thing up like a noodle. Or is it just moving underneath? Dude, that amoeba is definitely sticking onto this thing. I don't know if it's deliberate, but it looks kind of deliberate. Oh, look at these ciliates here that are just like bouncing around inside of here. Oh, did it like, I think did it rip off a hunk of the, ooh, it kind of looks like it did. It looks like it might have gotten a little chunk of the Vegeatoa there. It's like Fast and the Furious, we're We're gonna scope for pink slips. But yeah, we did it kind of super janky style. Me and Nomarski from the forums, I like, he was streaming on Discord, and I like screen capped his stream on Discord and added it to my my OBS window. And so we had him. It was just kind of like a picture-in-picture thing, and we weren't really doing anything interactive, but like, it's cool. It works. I think there's potential there. We just got to think of something fun to do, basically. Oh, this is one of those spirostomum, I think, that's kind of gotten a little stubby. All right, how long have we been going now? Feels like a long time. Feels like we've been going for a minute. Yeah, we've been going for about 2 hours now. I think I'm gonna call it on account of I just need to go to bed. Still haven't gotten like one good night's sleep since the wedding. But this was super cool. Oh my god, I can't wait to do like some actual like 4K like super high quality recordings with this. The 1.67x, man, that is the correct optic for these microscopes in a full frame camera. I'm calling it, man. It is way better than the 2.5x. Ain't nobody, I don't want to hear nothing about 2.5x full frame. The 1.67x is the correct optic. Anybody else that disagrees, get out. Yeah, this is it. This is truly next level. I can't wait to do just other stuff with this. Do some oil immersion with this. The 60x 1.4 NA. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, boys? Like 60x 1.4 with the kind of like density of resolution we're getting. I have 4 diatom strew slides that I have not looked at once yet. I've been saving them. I'm not going to look at them until I stream it live. And like, we're going to do that. We're going to do a little bit of hyperlight up in here, and that's going to be amazing. That's going to look so good. So anyway, can't wait. Fun day, great day of microscopy all around. So thanks everyone. Thanks sis for checking in. Thanks Andy. Good talking to you. Thank you, Josh. If you're not on the Discord, Josh, get on the Discord. And yeah, we will pick this up again sometime. Oh, I got more like improvements I want to do too. Oh my god. All right, y'all.